Shorty Torres. How you doing?
I'm alive, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Like I said, I appreciate your time. We were just talking a little bit off air, and man, you are slammed. Like you're one of the busiest MMA people I see. And now there's a lot of busy people out there, but you are so caught up with, you have so many sponsors, so many people involved with you. How are you able to manage all of that? Just watching your Instagram feed, I'm like, man, this guy is busy.
It's funny because I remember I went out with my friends maybe about 6 months ago. And they're like, "So what are you trying to sell us now, Mr. Salesman?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" They're like, "Oh, sponsors, this, that." I was like, "Dude, one, I got to make a living, but also I use all of this stuff. I'm not just putting it out there." I think for me is a closed mouth doesn't get fed, and I'm not a person to shy away from asking, one, for help, but also two, to go, if I do ask for help, I'm trying to give the same amount of help, if not more, in return. So, for example, with sponsors, like I think I promoted one yesterday night because I had cauliflower in my ear. I had to drain it, and just little products that are out there, they're gonna help me, and I know they're gonna help me. So I go, you know what? In exchange, if you can give me some free product, I'll definitely promote. And if you like the promotion, then we can figure out a deal. And from there, most of the time, sponsors figure out a deal, and we do a monthly thing. And I think that's something that fighters lack. Everyone's like, let's just punch each other in the face and
Right.
things done. Well, the bad thing about this sport now, because of social media, is it's not about how good you are anymore. It's how popular you are.
Right.
It's like a pageant, which kind of sucks. It's
Yeah.
like I might be able to punch harder than you, but no one really cares. They want to know who's more popular, who can get more of a feed, and this and that. So it's like,
Yeah.
but for me, hopefully, I'm both a good fighter and a good marketable guy. So I'm just trying my best to do both.
Well, you certainly are both of those. And I really like what you're doing because just what you just said right there, let's just take that cauliflower. Now, a lot of MMA fans that watch it are like, oh, yeah, I understand. It's like, I know the guy's tough if he has cauliflower because I know he rolls around. But just what you said right there, you're focusing on something to reduce cauliflower. And it's like that behind the scenes stuff is what a lot of people don't know. And it's a lot of fighters are getting it, or you seem very invested in post MMA career, it seems like. I just think you have your hands in so many different businesses and you understand the grand scheme of things. And I think that's what truly separates you, and that's what translates you to a great fighter, is because you get it. You get the big picture. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is because I've gotten a lot of people wanted you on the show. First off, people love you and they can relate to you. You are you still at American Top Team?
Yeah, I'm actually sitting in my dorm right now. I come here for a month at a time, so sometimes I don't have a car or whatever the case. So sometimes I like to call it a
Yeah.
prison because it's like gray walls, one window. So I'm just like, I'm in my cell right now, just hanging out.
Well, I actually have stopped back there before. My guy Mike Davis is training there now. I had Billy on and Dean on the show. And one thing I've noticed is just it's one of the best camps, if not the best camp in the world. How did you know to choose American Top Team? So, like, if these young MMA fighters or people are listening, how do they know which camp to choose? Because it's so crucial. I know it's only one person in that octagon, but having a team in MMA is crucial.
Honestly, it's funny because I get that question a lot. Everyone's like, "Oh, what made you go to American Top Team? This, that." American Top Team was actually one of my when I first started was one of my first choices because they ended up making the big facility. I was like, "Oh, I want to go there." I reached out to here and Team Alpha Male.
Okay.
Both of them, coincidentally, were just like, "Oh, you're still an amateur." I'm like, "Oh, but I signed my pro contract. I'm signed with Titan. I want to make my pro debut."
Mm-hmm.
Look at my extensive amateur career, but they weren't really having it. So I was like, okay, well, let me just do me, get a pro fight, maybe go somewhere else, and we'll see where it goes. And I started traveling to train at different places. I ended up at Jackson Wing, Team Elevation, Muscle Farm, Dwayne Ludwig, Training Lab, and a few more places. Pretty much what Team Quest used to be down in Texas.
Right.
Some big gyms down in Missouri. I've been to Rufus Ford. I've been to places in Jersey. And I mean, I've traveled to some really, really nice gyms with some amazing coaches. But it was funny because I was training with TJ. He just beat Cody Garbrandt the first time.
Wow.
And he ended up just having his baby. And so I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
he just had his firstborn. I noticed when TJ is gone, all the small guys disappear. I'm like, I love the coaches there. I have a great time with all those guys. But
Right.
in California is super expensive. And
Yes.
two is I have no one to go with. It's going to be nothing but maybe Juan Archuleta, 145, and guys that are bigger. So I'm like, oh man, it's fun, but I need some
Right.
real goals, at least my size. So my manager's Lex McMahon. He stays here in Parkland, Florida, and he's like, why don't you come down to American Top Team? I was like, it might be a little weird because I fought at least 3 guys representing American Top Team, 1 guy from this gym.
Right.
Like, sure, why not? And I came down thinking I was only going to be here for maybe 1 camp and then move on. And there were so many small guys. It was ridiculous. And I mean, different small guys. It wasn't just like, oh, they're all Brazilians. It was like all jiu-jitsu guys, all wrestlers, all kickboxers, Muay Thai fighters. So you can literally down almost any single style opponent getting ready for a fight. So I did that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come for my next camp. And then I just kept on coming back and coming back, coming back. And then the amount of coaches here is pretty ridiculous. But I mean, again, I've been able to go with Formiga, Barao, Pedro Munhoz, Kyoji Horiguchi, and the list goes on and on and on. So there's some level guys here, and you hear the saying, iron sharpens iron. So I've been here. It's the longest I've ever been at 1 camp. So far, it's been about 1.5 years. So usually I transition after the year is over. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Camp here, there's so many guys. It's like you can't best all of them. Other gyms, I'm like, I feel like I've bested them, or I feel like I've kind of plateaued a little bit. I'm moving on somewhere else. But here, I'm starting now to get the right coaches under me and figure out who's best for me coaching wise as well. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And have you noticed the difference in your game because of that? Like you just said, focusing on 1 camp for this long period of time, have you really seen the translation inside the octagon of the cage?
The big thing here, I do coach myself a lot. And just at any camp, I'm one of those guys that like to break down my own fights when I'm sparring with these guys and go, okay, these are the 3 things I need to work on for my next camp. And I'm always trying to mentally prepare myself for the next I give myself goals for the next practice. I'm not just going in there sparring and go, all right, cool, like that was a good day. I try to set goals and accomplish those goals so I have something to reach for and then keep on going that way. And when you have so many different guys here, it's easy to set those goals because every single person is different. And so when you go 1 round with, Formiga, primarily jiu-jitsu based, and then you go with Kyoji Horiguchi, who's speed and power and super fast in the stand-up game, that's 2 completely different styles. And then you go with Munhoz, who wants to, box and brawl with you, but he'll take you down to heel hook or guillotine you, So everything is very, very different. So I've grown a lot here, and now I'm starting to figure out the coaches that I believe are best for me. So even talking to those guys after and having them give me some feedback too is really a good experience. And that's something I do like about this gym is it's not just coaches who've been in the game. It's coaches who've been in the game at such a high level, plus at your size. Most gyms have kind of like that 1 big coach and 1 small coach, and that's it. Here, I mean, there's so many different sizes, so many where they can relate to you and go, Mike Brown, fought at featherweight, bantamweight. These guys were high-level guys. Dean Thomas, the high-level jiu-jitsu that he's bringing into the game. Steve Bruno, another MMA world champ, where he's like, dude, I got the kickboxing game to hopefully take you up to another level, and just more and more and more. So the guys are really phenomenal.
That's great. Yeah, those guys are just the best at what they do. They really are. I went there one time and I was watching, I think Taylor train and from Pete White Boxing, and I saw Andrei Arlovsky with the strength and conditioning coach, and he was pulling a sled with his head. I've never seen that before. Like I've seen people pull sleds. I've never seen anyone pull it with their head and beat people in a race. I was like, this is just next level. I don't even think I'm ready to watch it. But it was absolutely incredible. And like you said, that gym is just iron sharpens iron. Dustin Poirier, Joanna, Greg Hardy, Andrei Arlovsky. I've seen Junior Dos Santos, you and Mike Davis, and like just the list goes on and on and on. And you guys are on fire right now. Every UFC card has an ATT guy or someone that's thriving on every card, not even just UFC. And it's unbelievable. But I wanted to ask you this because the last time I spoke to you, it was like that weird transition in the UFC where they didn't know if they were keeping the division, I believe, a flyweight division. But then now Henry Cejudo has come up and he's not annoyed in himself, but like he wants to be one of the greatest of all time, right? He's the Olympic gold medalist and now he's the 2-time champ. And it looks like they're keeping that division now. What are your thoughts on Henry Cejudo? Do you think people are too not hyped on him, but is he really that legitimate as far as a huge star, or do you think he's kind of overrated? Because I've gotten mixed reviews with fighters that I've spoken to. What are your thoughts on him?
His persona of the King of Cringe is definitely overrated. He it seems that I don't know if that's the real him or he's trying to do a Colby Covington,
Right.
but it's very awkward. And yeah, it's King of Cringe. I get it, but I don't think it's a good thing for him. I think he could easily be more popular than DJ. Because DJ was a phenomenal athlete, but yes, he
Right.
beat DJ, which I think DJ did win the fight. But anyways, he beats DJ, he beats TJ, he bumps up and beats Marlon. Like everything's great. I think he's a phenomenal athlete, and his actions can speak louder than his words. But his words are, again, for example, very very cringeworthy. I'm not a fan of it, and I think there's definitely the good and the bad type of promotion, but he's somewhere in the middle. But I don't think it's good or bad. It's like just no one wants to watch it. No one wants to hear
Really?
him talk. I've seen a lot of people where they bring up his interviews and they just skip it because they just don't want to hear whatever he has to say because it's just
Right.
it's not even good to the point of or bad to the point of like, oh, I want to see him get beat up like Floyd Mayweather back in the day,
Yeah.
or it's like, oh, I support him. It's just annoying sometimes for some people. And they're like, but Henry Cejudo as an athlete, again, Olympic gold medalist, double weight class champ for the small guys. I think that's phenomenal. I think his actions speak much louder than his words. He's a phenomenal athlete, and I think he could be one of the best in the world very, very soon. But right now, I'm not a fan of King Cringe. I'm a fan of Henry Cejudo. He has brought up some hope for the flyweights. Again, Brandon Moreno being re-signed, Sergio Pettis moving back down the flyweight. I believe Mark De La Rosa is moving back down the flyweight. And you have some nice fights happening, but all those fighters that have been re-signed or signed again to the UFC, from what I know, are just fighting in Mexico City. I don't know how big their contracts are, but
Yeah.
it's nothing but Latinos fighting in Mexico, which is awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But so
Right.
far, it's just one event. Everyone else has still been signed. So like, hey, maybe you finish your contract at 125. Hey, maybe we're trying to postpone the flyweight division, but there hasn't been any type of confirmation that we're going to keep on trucking forward. So far, it's been, hey, we're just going to keep on going until maybe we cut the rest of the guys. Once they lose, you're out. You finish your contract, you're out. Or, it's really up in the air. So I see it more as being postponed than saved.
Wow. No, that's an interesting take. And I think you bring up a really interesting point. It doesn't seem like the real Henry Cejudo. And like you said, I'm a fan of his game inside of the octagon. What he's done inside the octagon is special. What he did to TJ Dillashaw and now Morales and Demetrius Johnson. But yeah, it seems like he has beef with everybody now. And I don't remember him having that beef prior winning that belt.
Think about Joseph Benavidez and him and the Tough Show. How many times did Henry Cejudo look at Joseph Benavidez like, hey, you're not a role model. You need to be a role model for the kids. Well, if you look back at that now, if you had Henry Cejudo, or King of Cringe, should I call him, look at Henry Cejudo back in the day, do you think he'd respect himself? I don't think so. Do you think he would badmouth himself and go, you're not being a role model for the kids? Because honestly, if I had kids, I wouldn't let them watch him. I'd watch his fights, but his interviews are pointless. They're just random smack talk. How many, like, he's already called out Uriah Faber, which is no threat, at least right now. He's already called out Frankie Edgar, which is technically still no threat right now because he hasn't even made the bantamweight yet. He just fought off. And he's just randomly calling. He called out the women. I'm gonna take your gold straps too. It's like, man, that's just come. I get it. It's promotion, but I don't think it's a good thing the way he's doing it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think he realizes he needs to get the people. He needs to be popular. He needs to get people to watch him in order to keep that division alive or become a superstar. But like you said, I think there's probably better ways he can go about it.
I get what he's trying to do, but it's the fact of like it's just too much.
Yeah.
Your actions are, again, you have all the silverware, you have all the gold, all that stuff. That's amazing, but just be yourself. If you want to be the hero role model you want to be, then be yourself. Again, my favorite fighter of all time is Manny Pacquiao. You've never ever heard him talk smack. And if he ever talked smack, it wasn't smack, it was truth, and it was more that he felt disrespected. Then he just put it out there. But you got all these guys now wanting to make it a popularity contest where fighting, you need to hate someone to get the fans entertained. You want to see a brawl. You want to see this, Conor McGregor, Diaz type of thing. It's like, we don't need that. Those are awesome, but we don't need that animosity. We just want to see a really good fight.
Yeah. Speaking about Manny Pacquiao, so your guy wins a belt at 40 years old. How incredible was that?
That was awesome. I was watching that fight on my phone, streaming it, and man, I'm like leaning over because the UFC event was going on. Everyone in the room wanted to watch the UFC. I'm one of the only boxing fans, and so I'm watching it. And me and my friend Kevin Seiler, who was on the Contender series, we're chilling watching it. And he dropped Thurman in the first round. We're like, just going crazy. We're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, So, it's really inspiring to see what he's done in the sport. Fighter of a generation from, I believe, 2001 to 2010. The things he's done inside and outside the ring, from being a congressman to a senator to helping build houses. His Pacquiao Foundation. Just again, I have my own foundation, Team Shorty Foundation. So it's one of those things that I'm doing a lot of things because of him.
That's awesome.
So I'm trying to follow in those footsteps, and he's creating the blueprint, and I'm trying to do the same thing in my sport, MMA. Of here, this is how you get sponsors. Here, this is behind the scenes. Here is how you be truthful, honest, or hopefully a role model on so many things. So it's like he's my inspiration. I'm hoping to be, heck, even half the man that. And accomplish half the things he's been able to do. So that's also another reason why I tried to be a double weight class champ in Titan and did. And that's the same thing I want to do in Brave and possibly, in the future, maybe in another promotion or somewhere else or wherever the case may be. I want to be like DJ, where he's just jumping promotions and taking belts all around the world. That's what I want to do.
Nice. That's awesome, man. And you're killing it. Like you said, champ. I want to get your opinion on this fight. And I'm not just saying this because I'm speaking to an American Top Team member. I've been saying it for a while now. I think Dustin Poirier is going to shock the world and upset Khabib. And a lot of people are like, come on, Max, that's not going to happen. I'm like, I don't know. It's just something that I just feel like has upset written all over it. I feel like Khabib's focused on the big fight. He just fought Conor McGregor. He talked about boxing Floyd. Then there's Tony Ferguson, that fight never happened. And I just feel like Dustin Poirier is just someone he thinks he's going to maul. And this fits right into Dustin Poirier's brand of being counted out, going to enemy territory, fighting him in there. I just think Dustin Poirier shocks the world. While the time I have you, I wanted to get your opinion on that fight. And what do you expect going down between those two?
It's funny because everyone's like, "Oh, I hope you're not biased and you say your opinions." I could honestly, I care less. I love Dustin, but I also love Khabib. I mean, him and I used to train together in Bahrain, in the Middle East, so I know them both. Khabib taught me some really, really good takedowns. That guy, his sambo style is super slick, and this was in 2015, and I'm still just impressed by what he's done in the sport. Again, Barboza trains here, and I'm just like, I don't know how you survive those rounds, just because, again, Khabib is just on top of you, going. But Dustin, on the other hand, I think it's a great weight class for him. I think it's easily the perfect weight class for him. He's one of my sauna buddies. I mean, I definitely have conversations about this almost every single day, and this guy is forward. He always wants to put on a show. Khabib, compared to Dustin right now, stylistically, Khabib only has one style, and that's wrestling. I think, he showed a little bit more with maybe Ally Quinta and the Conor McGregor with the stand-up game, but you're such a dominant wrestler, a grappler. Man, there go my lights. Such a dominant wrestler, a grappler that people want to put their hands down, they want to sprawl, they want to do this. I get it, but Dustin's not afraid to be on his back. He's tapped a lot of people out, or he's scrambled his way up. So I think him being at this weight class is a very, very smart thing for him. And I think against Khabib, he poses more threat on both the feet and the ground than Khabib does compared to the whole fight. Khabib is great at taking you down, holding you down, and beating you up.
Yeah.
Dustin can survive and start the round again and just be forward and not be afraid of those takedowns, which I've seen in practice. It's going to be a very, very hard fight for Khabib and just the fans overall.
You said something interesting. So you yourself, you're a champ. So you know what it's like to move up and down weight classes. You just said the fit for Dustin Poirier seems to be immaculate right now for him at 155. What is it like as a fighter? Not everyone can move up that weight class and you just succeed. Some people, like Luke Rockhold, I don't think look the same at 205 as he does at 185. But for you, what is that jump like? Is it just depending on the situation, on the person, or is there a way that you should go about it if you're switching these weight classes?
Fun fact, I actually tried to bump up to 145 when I was in Titan because I didn't think the UFC was calling. So I was like, I'm trying to bump up, and
Wow.
it's Jason Suarez's team. I don't believe him himself, but his team denied the fight. I'm like, oh man, I wanted to be like what Cejudo's calling himself, Triple C. But um, it's a hard process, because you look at, for example, Manny Pacquiao and all the fights. Given it's more just one style boxing, and you can be faster than someone, you can hit harder than someone, you can be naturally more talented, you can always move. But in MMA, somebody's going to grab you, somebody's going to lay on you. There's a huge strength,
Yeah.
and disadvantage. So for MMA and Dustin, you see him at 45. He's kind of like Max Holloway. He's just big for the weight class. He looks real skinny, but he's aggressive and he can do his thing. He was at the top of the sport at 145, and now him at 155, he still has the height. He still has the length. You see him against some of these guys, Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez. Like, he was much longer and actually still much bigger than these. Some of these guys at a different weight class. He feels much heavier, and he doesn't have to, focus his fight or training camp on the weight cut. I can tell you,
Right.
from the 25, 2 weeks out, that's it. My training's done. 2 weeks before the fight, I'm focusing on my weight cut and just working on cardio, so I can get my weight down. At 135, I'm kind of doing the same thing, more taking it down to 10 days instead of 14, but it's more fun. It's more relaxed. I don't have to pressure myself too much, and I
Right.
get to ease my way into it. And eventually, that's going to be my next move is bumping up and staying at 35. But again, time will tell when that is. I'm only 27, but it's the fact of all these weight cuts are ridiculous. But you see the opposite right now with Frank Edgar. He started at 55, was successful. 45, I believe, it's not that he's not successful. It's that I believe the game kind of evolved and changed too fast for him. And he was that old dog, and he couldn't really learn new tricks as fast. That's really all. Frank Edgar is a phenomenal athlete. I've trained with him before. He is amazing. But now he's bumping down to 35, which is a weight class he easily could have been at, but is that too late for him? So it just depends on how his body works. He's older. Can he make the weight? Sure, but will his body cooperate? We don't know. So that's the big thing. I think ONE FC's ahead of the game when it comes to those weight cuts. They have like the blocked weight classes.
Yeah,
and,
that's
so you look at DJ. He's the smallest one in the weight class, but he's fast. He's elusive. He's smart, and he's the most technical fighter in that division right now. I think he's in semis or in the finals, but again, it's how you play it right. And DJ doesn't really cut any weight. Dustin is barely cutting weight for 55. He's smartly, just getting healthy compared to cutting weight.
right.
So it really is a big thing. Khabib, I know, blows up, and he could easily fight 170, no problem.
Really?
But if they ever made that super lightweight division like Brave did, I think that'd be awesome for the UFC. But we'll see. Khabib cuts a lot of weight, man, and that's why he's had his injuries every once in a while, because your body gets brittle, your immune system goes down, you cut weight, and I know AKA they go freaking hard. So there's a science behind that. I think Dustin right now is ahead of the game, bumping up to 55, and he's definitely one of those fighters in the generation that are kind of showing that you should bump up instead of trying to kill yourself to go down to be the bigger, stronger guy when you probably only have one round of that.
Yeah. No, I think the UFC should do it every 10 pounds. Like, I know I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it, and like, I think there needs to be a scoreboard in place for the judging so they can be held accountable. The fighters know. I think I've told you that one before. But as far as the weight classes, yeah, I think it'd be healthier for the fighters. I don't think it would water down the sport. Actually, I think it would enhance it. And I think you would see a lot of these tweeners, these guys that don't know whether to go the up or they go down. It wouldn't hurt themselves. That in between weight class would be perfect for them. But I do want to focus the attention on you. So what is next for Mr. Torres? What is next for you?
I don't know. One, I do want to talk about the weight class thing. Everyone's talking about, oh, we need more weight classes. We need this. Just to let you know, people are always going to miss weight. I know we talked about the early morning weigh-ins versus the afternoon weigh-ins. We need more weight classes. People are always going to miss weight. That's sadly part of the sport. It's like
Right.
if I tell you can come 15 minutes late to practice, you're probably going to come 20. That's inevitable. That's going to happen. So no matter if we have more weight classes, people are going to miss weight. But I do believe that I agree with you with the 10 pounds. Either we start at 125 and move up 10 from there, or we just start at 130 because people are like, oh, we don't like 125 anymore. People are too small. Okay, fine. Let's kind of cooperate and meet in the middle and go 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, maybe get to 200 and then do it like in college wrestling or in high school wrestling. Go to 220 or 225, and then make it as a super heavyweight. 225 could be heavyweight, and the super heavyweight up to 285, and then from there we just relax. But that's just my personal opinion. But I think more weight classes are it's gonna backfire when it comes to making weight. Somebody's always gonna miss weight, whether it's morning, afternoon, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But for me, I had one fight in Brave. I wasn't happy with the performance because I was able to drop my opponent 3 times in the first round, easily dominate the first round. Could have been a 10-8 round. The second round, I gave him my back. He was just like a little leech, was phenomenal jiu-jitsu, and just wanted to hold on. But he never put me in any type of danger. I'm like, come on, man, just let go. Let's keep on fighting. And I stood up. He held my back, and it was pretty much 4 minutes of just him holding. And I'm like, I want to make a fan entertaining fight. This is my style, and you're not letting me do that, which is fine. But you're also not doing anything to win yourself like a dominant round. You're just holding on. So he won the second round. Third round comes, and I'm trying to strike with him. He can't take me down, so he decides to move, and I wouldn't even call it running, but poorly evading, where it seems like.
Right.
And I'm just like, come on, man, it's not helping me, and it's definitely not helping you. If you want to win the fight, you have to attack me. And he was 11-0 at the time. I was able to get the win, but it wasn't a fan entertaining fight for me, and I'm disappointed about that. So for me, I want to get back in there as soon as possible. I've been down in American Top Team for about 2 months. Brave told me that I was supposed to fight this month, but they postponed me for whatever reason. So I'm waiting. I've been training for 2 months. I'm excited. So I'm going to go for 2 weeks. Hopefully talk to the matchmaker. Hopefully talk to the president of the organization and get things done. And I want to fight as soon as possible. I want to fight 2 more times in the year. And I know they have a huge event in November, which is like their Brave International Fight Week. Also with the IMF World Championships. I'd love to fight in front of my world crowd. I think that's amazing. But I want to fight one more time before then. And if possible, I want to fight for the belt first. And then if it's that close, maybe bump up and fight for the second belt. But, I mean, overall, I just want to fight.
You could be the most frequent champ the MMA game has ever seen if you keep getting all these belts in different organizations.
Well, that's my goal. I mean, I did that in Titan. No one's ever been able to do that in Titan. They've tried, but a lot of them have failed. And 2 is, Brave is still very brand new promotion. They've only been around 3-4 years. They don't have a flyweight champion yet. They don't have an inaugural champion. And they have a very dominant bantamweight champ that I believe I can beat, but I respect him to the fullest, so that makes me just want to fight him more. Definitely no animosity, but Stephen Lohman's a really, really dominant fighter, and it's just one of those things that he's kind of like myself. If he lasts past the first round, he's going to adapt very, very fast, and out of nowhere, you're going to be on your heels. So for me, I'm like, I want to see, in a sense, who adapts faster. And if we don't get it, past, or if we get it done in the first round, how are we going to do it? Who's going to do it? But I got to win the flyweight strap first, and I would like to defend. But if they want me to fight in November, and it's such a big event, I'd rather bump up and make it maybe champ versus champ. But one fight at a time. But I'm just waiting for the opportunity. So it's like, just put me in, coach. Tag me in. I want to play.
That's awesome. You're killing it. So just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're about to go down and train with some killers down there. Before I let you go, you have an awesome blog. You have a lot of stuff going on. So please, the floor is yours. Where can people find you, check you out, and your channel?
Yeah, so my 2 biggest channels, and my third one coming in. So one is obviously Instagram, Jose Shorty Torres. I'm trying to change it to Shorty Torres MMA, but it's hard to contact Instagram through support. It's ridiculously hard to change your name if you're verified. But I've been trying to put my YouTube channel and my old videos into IGTV, because IGTV is blowing up now.
It is.
So my YouTube series is called Inside Team Shorty, where I give the reality, the truth, and everything behind the scenes of the sport MMA. Fun fact, I made a video about DJ getting traded and Ben Askren coming to the UFC. Because of that video, helped me get cut or released by the UFC. So I put out sensitive details out there, all speculations, but I put out sensitive details out there that I believe fans should know. And I don't care what happens. If I believe you guys should know, I believe you guys should know. And if I get some backlash from it, then, sadly for me, I get backlash. But
that's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. And I'm happy to be able to put out those details out there. I'm actually transferring over my YouTube videos, at least season 3. I have season 1, 10 episodes, season 2, 10 episodes on YouTube on Inside Team Shorty, but I'm doing season 3 on a series called Rockfin, or a streaming service called Rockfin, which is like the Netflix, Hulu streaming service, but for podcasts, technique videos, blogs, stuff like that. So it's Rockfin, Rokfin. The name on there is Jose Shorty Torres. My series will be Inside Team Shorty. And my first interview is actually going to be with Dan Hardy. We did a collaborative interview together. He's talking about asking me why I was released from the UFC and would I ever go back, which I'm not going to answer now. And I give real good details of why I would or would not go back. And with Dan Hardy, again, he was such a phenomenal athlete during his time. He retired in his prime. And why he didn't come back is something that I think is something that's very, very huge. He was medically discharged or let go, and so he wasn't able to fight. But then he got cleared, still in his prime, but also still didn't decide to come back, even though he was dying to fight. So we give some great details in there. So I'm excited for that one to come up. It'll be 4 parts because Rockfin only lets me upload like 4 gigs at a time, so I have to cut an hour-long interview into 4 different parts. I'm like, but doing that, and then another episode will come out on my IGTV tomorrow. If people haven't looked at YouTube, it will slowly transfer over, but you can't catch up. So you have to either sign up to Rockfin or watch my IGTV. But man, I think the last thing I want to put out there is, again, Pacquiao is one of my favorite fighters. Did his foundation, all that stuff. So I have something called the Team Shorty Foundation. So everything that I sell, my merchandise, 100% of the proceeds go to kids all around the nation to stay in the gym and off the streets. So I don't, I sponsor, I believe right now I have 7 or 8 athletes that I sponsor, whether they're low-level amateurs, high-level amateurs, or low-level pros. Basically, like you're saying, some people need different sources of income or different opportunities. MMA and the gym saved my life. Well, I'm hoping to be able to do the same, or if not, a little bit of scratch of the same thing for theirs. And it's been a huge opportunity. I've been able to have people fight all across the country and do different things and get different opportunities, find different sponsors as well. I find people things like that, and it's cool. So the Team Shorty Foundation, again, if people want to support, teamshorty.com. All the proceeds, no matter what you buy, go to pretty much 100% them. I 100% lose money out of this, and I am trying my best to support as much as possible. As long as I have enough money to live, I'm definitely more than happy. So if I can, I will. And that's why I always say we will together. We are Team Shorty.
That's great, man. You just blew me away. You really did. That's awesome. I huge supporter of you and everything you stand for, and I'll definitely be checking out your content every day.
I appreciate that, man. And for people who do ask, because I do get the question a lot, oh, you don't have this shirt in my size. Once the shirt is gone, it is gone, and I do not make them again. So I'm kind of like Supreme. Once it's gone, special edition. Once it's gone, and that's it. And I do make them specifically in a number of sizes. I don't do pre-orders. I will do that eventually, but until then, man, I appreciate the love and support, and I appreciate your time as well. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a trip down to American Top Team sometime. Maybe we'll do a live podcast.
I'm down with that. Just let me know. If I'm here, I will.
That sounds great. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
No problem. Take care of yourself.